Aha! Aha! Welcome. Can I get a 5 by 5 first of all before we start? As we note, the D Live is in action. Welcome, D Live. And also Twitch in the house and Facebook. How could I forget you? The one and only Facebook. Turfbog Time Machine gives me a 5 by 5 over on D Live. As we wait for our friends to fill up the room. My good friend Davide Quadri will be joining me, the Youth LEGA coordinator based in Brussels, literally just running in the door, caught up on time. Um, but in the meantime, as we wait for the arrival of our guest, who will be joining us shortly, Davide provided us with a little bit of context in relation to Silvio Mattini's joining of the Draghi government. Now, I will be questioning Davide when he gets here. And a big hello to our Italian friends tuning in from over in Italy. I know that Davide has shared the photograph of us in happier times before the lockdown, shall we say. Where have we got that? I think I have that saved. The military channel in the house, Albertus Lee gives us a 5 by 5 as well. Let me just share the screen with you. Good evening, Bernie. Great to have you joining us from Cork. Fantastic. Peter Stewart, the one and only from Belfast, also. Good to have you, Peter. Great to see you, and hope you're keeping well. And the military channel also joining us on Facebook. Over on D Live, the Hardy Bastards are in the house. We've got Turfball, Karen Burns, photo via Pop, Ragnar71 joining us from Valhalla, Sheepdog, Junkers. Can I get off your email? One of 200 here. Junkers, the best one to catch me on is still at grandtorino.ie, info or Rowan. As Facebook is filling up quite avidly, I will read, and I'm hoping Davide, I know he's setting up his laptop and he's probably plugging his earbuds in, but we will soldier on regardless. Also, our very good friend Baby Cakes, Jenny, joined us. Baby Cakes, I hope you did well in the Bitcoin. I hope you took my advice. That's all I'm saying. Not financial advice, but I hope you went that way. Joe Whelan Ross also joining us from Sligo. Sligo in the house, everybody. Ava M. Great to see you. And Fran Brennan, but to name but a few. Fantastic to see you all, and I'm very especially, I'm so lucky to have you all. Also, Sydney, Australia in the house, our good friend Paul Bennett. Paul, just because I don't reply to you on our message drops, keep them coming. I do read through them. Also, Nikki Burns joining us from the D Live posse. And how could I forget Bernadette Wall joining us all the way from County Waterford. I hope and I thank you all for your interaction with the Rose. Stunning views, stunning share. That's all down to you guys. You guys, that's all down to you lot sharing it and pushing it out. Some 400 shares. Facebook wouldn't get that out. When the YouTube does come back online, we're still serving another penalty timeout for our how dare we air Dolores Cahill over on the YouTube to decimate the coronavirus narrative. Beautiful Donegal also in the house from Angela Teresa Wade. Great to see you. Kilkenny and Aoife is joining us from Knock. We got Terry O'Brien, is unfortunately a dub stuck in Mullingar. I jest with you, Mullingar. Beautiful. The Irish Channel also checking us out. The Irish Channel also check us out. We have lots of viewers, Dave Cullen, etc. on the channel. Absolutely will do. Make sure you tune in and follow the Irish Channel. Let me pop that up on the screen there for you. And for those of you reviewing after, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to hit the like button on whatever platform you are. And if you're able to push anything our way, please do so. Also, Nicola38, our good friend. Okay, 52 in the house over on Facebook. And as we still wait for Davide, I will read through Davide's summation of Lega's decision to join the Draghi government. A new government for Italy, the view of the youth of Lega. 2021 began with a series of political events and decisions that determined a radical change in the Italian government. It all started with the resignation of two ministers of Italy Viva, of ministers of Italia Viva, a minor left-wing party led by former Prime Minister Renzi, due to different views in the government. The government Conte was relying on Italia Viva's votes to have a majority in the parliament as the Movimento 5 Stelle plus the other left-wing parties were not enough for the Senate. In view of a vote in the Senate, Prime Minister Conte led a frantic search for votes of, quote, responsible MPs from other political parties, especially in Forza Italia and minority groups. The vote in the Senate concluded with a favourable vote, but with such a small majority that it would have not secured a future for the government. While negotiations continued and restarted with Italia Viva, Giuseppe Conte resigned as Prime Minister. The President of the Chambers of Deputies, FICO, was granted by the President of the Republic a few days to verify if there were the conditions to recreate a new government supported by the old majority. For many Italians, it was quite a surprise to see the reconciliation between the parties supporting the previous government failed, leaving no hope for a third Conte's lead. According to the Constitution, at this stage of the crisis, all decisions have to be made by the President of the Republic. President Mattarella met with all political forces of the parliament, and the centre-right parties went all together asking for new elections. And Davide was there. Davide, stay there, come back in. As an appointment, Prime Minister Draghi, however, the President decided differently, justifying the fact that elections would have been a risk during the pandemic's delicate phase, and he nominated Mario Draghi as a designated Prime Minister. And we're all very aware of who Mario Draghi is over here with our visitations from the Troika. It was very discussed in the national media, the adhesion of Lega to the new government that has been portrayed as an act of responsibility that revamps the image of Lega as a more formal and problem-solving reality, paving the way for an enhanced dialogue with international parties. On Friday the 12th, Mr. Draghi presented the list of ministers that he had kept as a surprise until the last minute, and the ministers accepted their role in front of the President of the Republic the following day. The new government reflects the multitude of parties that comprised its majority. 3 ministers for Lega, 3 for Forza Italia, 3 for Partito Democratico, 4 for Movimento 5 Stelle, and 1 for Italia Viva, and 1 for Liberi Ugali. But it also included a great number of highly skilled ministers coming from the civil society. Lega is represented by 3 important ministers for areas that have been crucial importance for the party. Giancarlo Giorgetti, Minister for Industries and Economical Development. Massimo Garavaglia, my apologies, Minister for Tourism, and Erika Stefani, Minister for Disability. Now, the main priority is to work in order to fulfil the main objectives of this emergency government, starting from drafting the recovery plan for the country. For Lega, joining the government was a brave move made by Matteo Salvini. Bravo, Matteo, bravo, Salvini. A choice that has changed the political scenario inside the government with a strong centre-right component, which currently rules 14 regions out of 20. The coalition Lega, Forza Italia and Fratelli d'Italia can balance the influence of PD and 5 in the Draghi cabinet. This move could have had a stronger effect if all the right-wing coalitions joined together Draghi's cabinet. It is quite clear that there are 2 sides inside this government, especially on issues like lockdown, immigration. I'm going to bring you in now, David. You're there, stay there, we're nearly there. Especially on issues like lockdown, immigration and EU integration. But the move made by Lega puts us at the centre of government with a strong leverage and with our hands on the decision desk. In a time where ideologies are endangered by economical and social crisis, we are confident that our, quote, problem-solving approach and responsibility will be rewarded by citizens that are now facing severe problems daily. And Davide has just left again. Let me just drop that down there as we wait for Davide to join us again. Seems to be a little bit of technical issues. Here he is, back again. Davide, you're with us. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. I'm sorry for the problem, but I don't know why. I have no good connection there, so it was a mess with computer. It doesn't work. Now it's better, I think.
Yeah, you sit back a little bit. Perfect. Now you're in camera there. Davide, a little bit rushed. I just read through your summation that you forwarded on to me for our audience here in the Republic of Ireland. And again, I welcome our viewership and all my familia in Italy. Uh, and I say hello to all my friends, Papini. But we do not digress. For my viewers here in the Republic of Ireland, we don't get a lot of international news. We get it slanted, obviously, as you know, from mainstream media. But we were very surprised by Lega's decision to join the Draghi government. But having spoken with yourself and having read the youth of Lega's summation as to the reason why Lega joined, it does become a little bit clear. It is more appropriate to be involved in government than to be shouting from the sideline. I get that, and it is. But before we jump in, please, for viewers that are not aware of you, Davide, your position in Lega and your responsibilities with the party.
Hi to everyone. Well, I'm Davide Quadri. I'm the international secretary of the Youth of Lega Giovani, and I'm in charge of the foreign affair and the foreign relationship between the Youth of Lega and other party and other patriotic movement across Europe and the world. And then I work in Brussels for the European Parliament, also from Lega. So I'm a member of Lega since 10 years now. I'm 28. I joined the party when I was 16, then official member when I was 18. So I have lived all the approach of the growing of Lega when it was bossy Lega, when it was more a separatist party, then also Maroni, and then going to the national level with Matteo Salvini. And now we are seeing very interesting time in Italian politics, because
for sure
everything is changing very quickly. And before the COVID crisis and that pandemic and all the stuff connected with the pandemic, our movement was stronger in the poll. It was polling more around 35, near 40%. Then for like every populist party, we have suffered from the COVID crisis, because we have suffered from the lockdown. We have suffered for not going to the street and campaigning daily. Salvini was very difficult also for him to not do any rally, not attend any rally, and for is 1 year, more than 1 year that we are not meeting together like a party.
No Pontida, for sure.
No Pontida. Yeah, that's a mess. It's a real mess, and also that's why also we arrive in that situation when we shut down the first government with the 5-star. It was painful because we was in the government. Matteo was the interior minister, and everything was more easier. But we are facing in that time no solution. We were in the government, but without doing nothing, because the 5-star was doing nothing at that time, and it was not cooperative at all to do anything together. So we are decided to go out from the government to try to push for a snap election. Unfortunately, the left is very intelligent to stay in the power whenever it's possible, and so they joined the 5-star. They doing that type of government until some week ago. Then Matteo Renzi, after the American election, Matteo Renzi played a very good game for itself, shutting down Conte and shutting down the left government with his own little party that is called the Italia Alive. And then he was the saboteur of the government. So the Conte government collapsed because it was a government that even for a pandemic time, when the government have all the power to do whatever is possible, because there is no democracy at all when there is during that time. It's a very stressful also for the democracy institution, the time we are living. And he used it very well, but don't use it in the good way. And so they were stuck at the hostages by some senator, by some member of the parliament, doing nothing. There is a green line from Brussels to spend that money, and we don't have any budget now during that time of COVID. Germany spent a lot of money for rebuilding the economy. France is spending a lot, maybe not enough. Both countries maybe not enough, but they are doing that. In Italy, the former government use it for some bonus for I don't know some electric bicycle, electric mono bicycle, stuff like that. And people was very stressed during that time because the business are closing and the
Yeah.
government issue is monocycle.
Well,
The school are closed, but the Minister of Education say, well, we can re-go to the school, but only if we use like a desk with the wheels. And there is a video on Instagram or whatever with children playing with that like a car crash in wherever in the classroom and fighting each other like car crash. So it was
it's
really
chaos.
insane. Yeah, it was really insane. And so that's why also Renzi triggered that crisis. And then what's happened after was that all the right-wing coalition say, we want to go to election. We want to go to election because it's the best solution to solve a political crisis when people decide who rule the country, not anyone other. But then the president of the republic, in a political way, because it was political what they've done, say, well, we cannot vote because there is a COVID crisis. Well, yesterday in Catalonia they voted. Some weeks ago they voted in Kosovo. They voted also in other country.
This is
So
an excuse. You think this is an
yeah,
excuse?
it's political. It's political. He decided that don't go to election. It's not illegal. It's is legal what they have done. But at the same time, from my point of view, it's kind of political because, you know, there was possible to go to election, but then he decided to say no. It's my power. I am the president of the republic. I invited before the president of the Chamber of Deputy that he was from the 5-star. He tried to rebuild the Conte government, but he failed because Renzi was too hard in his request for minister and from power. Mm-hmm. So then he say, well, there is the Draghi cards on the table because it's a lot of time that they're talking about Mario Draghi and his role in the Italian politics. And they say, okay, well, I put it in his hand. So then the left, like every time, say, yes, we want to stay in power. So yes, for us, it's okay. In maybe 1 minute, they say, we want Conte. Without Conte election, no. Draghi government is fine. In maybe 1 hour, they do it like that.
But then Draghi is the Goldman Sachs. He is the Goldman Sachs. He is the bankers. He is the bankers' choice.
He is the former chief of the European Central Bank. He have a huge curriculum in banks and in an economy institution. Mm-hmm. So, well, it's like a technocrat figure. It's not like a politician. That's totally sure. But then there was the move that came from even some centrist party, like also Forza Italia, more liberal conservative. They say, well, if it's Draghi, because also in the history was Berlusconi that appointed Mr. Draghi to the European Central Bank. Was Berlusconi that put Draghi also in the Bank of Italy. So he have his connection with Berlusconi and say, well, we will see that game. And then there was 2 solutions: staying outside and say, no, we don't want it, like Meloni is doing now. We want to go to election. Election is the only way. Or like also we are the biggest party in Italy. We're still polling around 25, 26, 27%. We are the main party that govern 14 regions out of 20 in Italy. So it was also our responsibility to say, if we don't do it, there will be a center-left government. Again, another one with 1 year, maybe 1 year and a half time to do what they want to do for their left agenda. Or we can try to go inside, look at what's going on, try to push our ideas, or also try to block their ideas. Because it's sure, we have 2 points of view in that government in some big issue like lockdown and like immigration and European integration and taxation. There are 4 issues that are divide us. They're still dividing us. But if we don't go in the game, we will never change anything at that moment. And the crisis is very strong there. I think it's the same in Ireland. I think it can be the same wherever in Europe. It's very strong. And it's very strong for the lower of the lower. It's very strong for people who work daily, who don't have a very long time job. They don't work. They can't work in smart working. So we have to try to fix it. Some money are coming from the European Union. It's our money because it's a debt. It's not a free money. It's not free stuff. But if we don't stay there, if we don't see that, don't try to change it, they will do whatever. They will do like in the past. They will do
They will
for.
borrow. They will borrow more and more, Davide. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut across you, but I want to steer us over to our three Liga representatives that will be joining the government. We have Giancarlo Giorgetti, Massimo Garavaglia. Am I pronouncing Garavaglia?
Garavaglia.
Garavaglia and Erika Stefani. They both. I think I've met Giancarlo and Massimo. I think, but I haven't met Erika. I was there I think she was there at Pontida in 2019.
Yeah, sure.
When we went to see, but great speeches, and it was a fantastic time. I was really looking forward to visiting in 2020, but we will have our time again in some shape or form. Talk to us about these three candidates for Liga and their importance to be in those positions as well for the party.
Yeah, the biggest one is Giancarlo Giorgetti, that you have met here in Varese, and he's also from here, from near my city in Varese. He was also the deputy secretary of the party under Salvini, and he have a very long history of economic studies and also economic role in the government. He was the chief of the committee of the budget in the Chamber of Deputies for many years, and he was also under Secretary of State during the Conte government, first Conte government. So he's our biggest card in that government, and also he will be in charge of the economic development minister. That in Italy is quite important because it's the minister that have in charge the economic situation, but not in a macroeconomic way like could be the economic minister, so taxation and that stuff, but it's more about business crisis. It's more about development of new economic zone, special economic zone, and a situation like that. He will have a huge role also in all the economic crisis that we have on the table now. There is a lot of big industries that have they want to try to have an arrangement with the government to stay in Italy, but with fixing some condition, try to fix in the law under their business. And so he will have that table that is very important, and also for the recovery plan that is coming from Europe, from the European Union, he will have a bigger role looking at it. And also it's very important for us because if you look in all the Draghi government, there is a lot, not a lot of technicians, but the key role are technicians. The economic minister, a lot of them are from Bank of Italy or the deep state, the organization of the state. But he will be the only politician in that economic zone, and it is from Lega. So it's a very important credit also for us to show that we can work on that, because people trust the Lega in some issue like immigration, like security, but we want to show also that we can work very good on economic stuff. We do it in the regional level, but nationally we have never had so much influence and importance in economic level. That time is very important. The other one is Massimo.
Sorry, finish off there.
The other one is Massimo Garavaglia, that will be in charge of the tourism minister. Tourism is very important in Italy. 15% of the GDP is related to tourism, not only tourism, but related to it. And then so will be very important his role. And both the Giorgetti and Garavaglia are minister with budget. Because in Italy, there is some minister that don't have budget. I don't know if it will be similar or something like that in Ireland. But for us, we have that situation where there is a minister that don't have any budget. It's a more political minister, and the other one that have a real portfolio to do it.
Just to clarify, budget.
Yeah, budget. It's my pronunciation.
No, go ahead.
And then Erika Stefani, she will be in charge of the minister for disabilities, for looking at that situation that it's very important in a daily life, especially during that time of crisis, when also the the economic struggle is more and more stressful for the family that have
For
disability at
sure.
home and the
For
situation.
sure. Let's split back into previous now, as you say, the economic powerhouse of Lombardia, the beautiful
Yeah.
Lombardy. But before the pandemic struck and before when the political maneuvers were at their peak, because there was a great drive, Matteo, my apologies, Matteo was brought under for prosecution by the next government, and he was facing kidnapping charges for the preventing the NGOs from smuggling more migration boats over. That was very much on the tip. But underneath all of that, there was always an economic struggle. Lombardia seems to be carrying from the northern region the economic burden for the whole, not for the whole of Italy, but for majority of the southern regions of Italy, particularly because there's such a left-wing philosophy down south. And again, the welfare system is engorged and engorged again to feed itself. But it seems now with external matters, the pandemic being one, I won't say that it's a contrivance or a masking of a bigger bubble behind. Let's just leave that to one side, because when Matteo agreed to join the Draghi government, it kind of, well, it shocked many people from my group that would have thought that having spoken with you to say, well, look, it's better to be involved in the government. At least we can have a say. We can, and with two ministers that have a budget, they can make some real effective changes in their briefs. But the economic struggle was already there. Italy was already being crushed with debt. How is this now with the pandemic spending being pushed out exponentially? Like I'm always under the assumption. Sorry, Davide. Italy is still a very wealthy country. I know the banks are very well capitalized. I know that there's some old wealth in Italy going way back, and it doesn't really match the economic output because that's parked offside in a different sphere. How is this extraordinary spending Italy is now incurring with the pandemic? How is it really going to be resolved unless there is some sort of debt jubilee or the Great Reset? If you're willing to talk on that.
Well, I think that for the debt situation, Italy now will skyrocketing our debt compared to the GDP. I think we'll go near 180, 109, near 200. I think it's going to be very, very huge. The solvency of Italian debt is a huge issue because we have yes, a lot of debt by the state, but we have a very low private debt in Italy because it's our culture also. We have a different financial system than the Anglosphere or the more the Scandinavian sphere. So we used to be more have our whole house from property, and so it's a different situation with debt that we have in the private sector and private level in Italy. But for the state, it's going to be a very huge burden. Also, with the recovery facility that is coming is also debt that will come from Europe. Yes, the European Commission will do it, but then the member state will have to repay it in the time. So it's not free money. So we will see. It's a very interesting that situation economically. I think that the burden for the normal people is very, very impressive, and I think that a lot of family are finishing their private and their resources because it's also the familiar situation is very also economical in Italy because a lot of people live in the same floor with the grandma and we all the family in the same place. But then this year and now we are 1 year, but maybe it can be 2 years. I don't know how many years how many months I hope, but maybe more. That situation will going on will be very heavy on the shoulder of our family, of our society. But also from a very solid situation that we have like a private debt in our country.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, David. Yeah, perfectly well explained as well. But that leads me on then just to let's just boil it down to our man Matteo. How? I mean, you've been in? You have probably. Have you met Matteo recently? Have you been on? I know you've been out campaigning. I know I see that on your Instagram and I see on Matteo's Instagram.
Yeah, not personally because now it's everything very, very postponed. Everything was blocked. Also the rally, there is no one. We have done a rally in November, then in Rome, but then it was very physical distanced, so it was a kind not very well performance, because a rally have to be a rally, not have to be a classic concert, classic music concert. But then the situation also for his trial of kidnapping is still going on, because now in the coming days the judge have to spoke, and it was quite of creepy, because today there was a newspaper that news that the judge that have to say if the trial could go on or if it will be disbanded was caught in a restaurant in a red zone. So when everything was closed, he was in the restaurant with his family, because he's a judge. So it's a really show how out of touch can be the power.
That's it. That's happening everywhere, from the media to the political class. It's rules for thee, but not for me. It's a scary pandemic, but I'll go out and party, or I'll go out and golf, or I'll go out and meet with the other politician, or our bar. I don't know what it's like in your parliament, but in our parliament, the bar is still open. They get to have their drinks and their schmews and carry on. But meanwhile, Irish pub life is being decimated.
But it's similar in the European Parliament. It's still open, not real open, because there is no table. It's not like it's taken away like outside. But it's a kind of creepy, because if the rule are for everyone, have to be for everyone.
Okay, then I'm just like I said, I want to finish out with Matteo, and congratulations to LEGA. As I say, I do think it is a smart plan to get inside the institutions, and as you say, put a block to some of their crazier probably spending demands, or whatever other stuff that they will bring in with emergency legislation. At the very least, I would say, with LEGA having representation, you have a nationalist voice in the parliament that carries weight. We here in Ireland have no opposition party what to speak of. We have no voice from a nationalist point of view. People will be slagging me, saying, well, about Sinn Féin and all that. Sinn Féin are so internationalist now, and they're so anti-Irish. It's not even you. And I know with LEGA's great history, with going back to Bobby Sands earlier, from the way back machine, you must be looking at Sinn Féin going, what the hell happened to these guys? They're completely bought out by the institutions.
Yeah, and also it's well, the point is also that we've seen in that day, because 2 days ago the former, I hope the former, but there is some scientific counselor of the government that now I hope they will not be renewed, they will be kicked off. They say no, but to fix the virus we need other shutdown, other lockdown, and say, why are you talking about that? You're not the government, you are no one. And they are scaring people daily on television on that situation. And I hope that with our governmental opposition, because it's a national coalition, so everyone is inside, everyone clash inside. We'll try to fix at least that situation. Because if we stay totally outside, like other parties are doing, there will be a formally opposition, because Giorgia Meloni will not join the government. Even the far left will not join the government. Even some 5-star, they will split the party and stay outside. But then, if you are the opposition voice inside the government, you can also fix some stuff that doesn't work. That doesn't work with the former government, and if we don't do it, it will work in the next one.
Absolutely. I'm gonna wrap us up there, Davide, because it's a perfect little half an hour slot. I want to thank you again for joining me and for your continued friendship and for keeping me informed of what's actually happening over in Italy, so that we don't have to rely on our mainstream media, who, as you can well imagine, lie to us consistently. Is there any parting messages or anything you want to keep us abreast of, or what's the situation for LEGA Youth going forward? And I must congratulate you as the rising star in LEGA, which I've always said. Matteo better watch his slot, because he's got some stiff competition, and so too for Giancarlo too. Giancarlo, better watch out. This guy, he's coming up hot and fast. Will you please say hello and a big thank you to all our friends? That I won't mention their names here publicly, but say hello to them for me. But any passing messages before I let you go?
Well, we are working a lot like a youth. Now it's a very difficult time to stay together, because you can do it only remotely with web and maybe physically when I go back there in Varese, but every time have to be something in the open field, some staff activity together in the open, and it's winter, so it's not very healthy to do it. But then we are trying to also expand our network, like for an affair. Now we have formally a branch in Argentina from the Lega Giovani with some youth Italian and Italian heritage youth that live there in Argentina. And also we are working to do it. We are working to do it also in the US with the Italian Americans and the young Italian Americans who live there and want to reshape the heritage, the Italian heritage, and also get involved in what's going on in Italian politics. So we're still working. We're still working even in that time. That is not very productive because physically you can do not so much, but we will try to do it in another way.
Fantastic. Okay, David, and a
So,
fantastic beer, by the way, as well. You've been working at
feel the bird. Feel the bird.
Feel the bird. Us, brother. I'll talk to you soon, and thank you again. I'll let you
Thank
go
you.
there. Ciao, ciao. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick interlude from me. Like I said, we are kind of withdrawn from the Facebook. When I try and get you to try and jump over to D Live. Don't forget, we are also backed up on Odyssey and BitChute for backup channels, and we will be streaming from D Live. And also, the Twitter account is now gone, and it's been a blessing. Actually, I've actually not missed it whatsoever. It's the start of clearing out some headspace so that we can sort of narrow down and focus on actions here in the Republic of Ireland. Keep your eyes firmly peeled, if you will, on the Shannon elections, and also be aware of new to the parish voter block movements, shall I say, and that also class themselves as outside, not Irish people that are contesting to gain access to the Shannon, but they consider themselves outside of the Irish sphere. So please pay attention, because the Shannon is the back door and it's a power grab. Alco, I'm going to let you go. I don't know if I'm going to be back tomorrow night, but like I say, I'm spacing them out. But I do believe by the weekend, I'm going to re-release Rose's interview again, the whistleblower, because it's a very poignant story. There's a lot following on that case. That case is active and going through the courts at the moment. So we will be following along with that. And I do please pay your attention to what's going on with Andrew Cumio in New York. And he is facing the chop for his actions. And don't forget that the very same situation that occurred in New York also happened here in the Republic of Ireland. And if he is held to account, and if he is prosecuted, and if he is jailed, at the very least jailed for what he done to the senior citizens over there, I can only express my horror from what I'm viewing on the small little bit of social media that I'm accruing to, as families' daughters try to visit their parents and weeping behind glasses and windows. Weeping behind glasses and windows. If even a tenth of what I imagine has happened to our care homes, from what Dr. Marcus de Bruin has also said, and also Dr. Andrew Rinn has pointed out, the great injustice that is happening to our elderly as they are waylaid, I'd say, as a more economic collateral damage. But we will hold them to account, and I guarantee you, in the annals of time, should a nationalist, any sort of nationalist bent take over this country again, before we are sassooned by the EUSS, or the EUSS, I'll call it, that we'll be able to take a couple of scalps with us before we disappear into Sector 54, formerly known as the Republic of Ireland. Wake up, Ireland, and start speaking the truth. I'm not going to get angry. I'm going to let you go there, ladies and gentlemen, because I wanted to finish there on a positive note with my good friend, Davide Quadri. Till I see you again, take care of yourselves. God luck. Keep yourselves safe and warm. And I'll see you again shortly soon. Keep an eye out for a post, and I'll let you know when I'm back on. Puss.